Hi everyone, I'm Barbara Beck, host of Welcome Home, where we love telling life-changing stories that offer us hope and inspire us in our walk with Jesus Christ. Well, when we produce Welcome Home, we're always on the lookout for new stories that we can make into a special program that simply spotlights someone's journey, that just tells the story. And today's life-changing story is simply that. We're going to take a glimpse into how God truly fashions His custom-made plan for each of our lives. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's life-changing story. Hi everyone, you know that it's not every day that I get to interview a big-time movie star, but we have that on, he's smiling, but he is a big-time movie star. On the set today, we have Caleb Castille, who is the main actor, the star of a brand new movie called Woodlawn, which is out in your theaters October the 16th, and Woodlawn is a fantastic movie about Tony Nathan and his life. I don't know a lot about it because I haven't seen it yet, but Caleb's going to tell us all about it. Welcome, Caleb.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I'm so glad to have you. First of all, tell our viewers how old you are.
I am 24 years old.
Just turned 24.
Just turned 24.
And you are already a major star. Now, what we need to tell our viewers today, Caleb, is that you started off as a football player. That's your heart. Tell us a little bit about your history with the University of Alabama.
Yeah, well, I went to the University of Alabama, and it was kind of one of those things where my dad played there, and both of my older brothers played there, and they had, you know, great careers. And you know, I had options where to go in college. I've always kind of been you know, very independent in my thinking outside of, you know, what the family mold kind of is, but I just wanted to go somewhere where I would win. And you know, and Coach Saban had just won a national championship in 2009, which was my senior year in college, and so after that there was no, you know, it wasn't a tough decision on where I wanted to play.
Right.
And so I went to the University of Alabama, and my freshman year we had, you know, kind of minimal success, and then my sophomore and junior year we won national championships back to back. So that was that in itself was just insane.
Huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Well, it seems to me, Caleb, like because you're athletic, your dad is Jeremiah Castille, and he played for the
Broncos. Buccaneers.
And so he's a fabulous football player. He's passed down his DNA, his genes to you.
Yes,
and so if you had wanted to, you probably could have become an NFL player like your dad, right?
Right. Yeah.
So when you decide, no, I'm not going to be an NFL football player, I'm going to be an actor, what does that do to your dad?
Well, good thing my dad is just an incredible man who pretty much just wants what's best for, you know, each of his children. And
good for him.
It was a, you know, it was a kind of a difficult talk just because I didn't really know how he was going to take it.
Of course.
But once he found out that I was wanting to pursue acting for the right reasons, he was, you know, very supportive.
So Caleb, what are the right reasons? Why did you want to pursue acting?
Well, the reason I wanted to pursue acting was because it's such a powerful medium in our culture today, and you look at how it shapes our minds of how we think and how we act and how we dress and talk, and even what we spend our money on it. And I know I'm a huge avid moviegoer, so
sure.
With that power, I mean, there's also there needs to be some good that can come from it. So I just wanted to get into entertainment and media to just be a positive role model and be able to work on projects that people can go and, number one, enjoy a film, but also learn good life lessons.
Because, Caleb, there are a lot of actors out there who really don't know the Lord. And so I want you to walk us through your faith journey, because you're obviously a really strong Christian, and that's part of why you wanted to go into acting, because it's a pretty dark world, and you will be a light in that dark world. So what part did your faith, or tell us about your faith journey?
Well, yeah, I was never I've never been like afraid of Hollywood in the dark side of it. I think there's a dark side to everything, and they're just like there are those dark components. There's a lot of people in Hollywood who are doing a lot of good and shedding a lot of light. But when it comes to my own personal faith, I grew up in a Christian home, and you know, from the moment I can remember, you know, we were up very early, and I can remember days where, you know, my dad would wake us up for Bible study at like 6:30.
Wow.
We would have to be dressed and like already ready to go to school, eating breakfast and all of that, you know, by 6:30. And but that's what I remember, is just being drilled in it. And you know, even though all of that is great, and you know, I'm very blessed to have grown up in that. In a spiritual home like that, but I didn't really find my own the power of the relationship between myself and Christ until I was 22 years old. And so I tell people all the time, it's like, you know, I met Jesus when I was 6, and then we became best friends when I was 22. So it's like,
I love that.
It took me a while to kind of realize, you know, what he was wanting to do in my life. So from that, in that kind of that lull, I mean, I was just kind of living a double life of, like, you know, I knew all the right things to say because I had been taught those things, and knew all the right Bible verses, and you know, I knew how to put on my Jesus jacket, and I was a lot of times the first one to take it off.
Wow.
In some situations. So
so there was a little rebellion, maybe, or
yes.
at least not walking closely with the Lord through those years.
For those long years, it was more, it wasn't a relationship. It was more just routine. It was what I was brought up to do. And so,
do you remember if there was a moment when you were 22 years old that you decided, Caleb, that okay, this has been head knowledge for me for 22 years, I want it to move to my heart? Was there a defining moment?
I got my heart broken.
Oh,
yeah.
By a girl? Oh boy, let's hear it.
And I don't know, I think that because I had so much invested in that relationship, and it let me down, I was like, I've grown up and I've heard about this relationship that I have with Jesus that will never run dry, or will never lead me in the wrong direction. So I was at a total place of just being tired of, I was broken. Yeah. You know, and I told my dad, I was like, I never wanted to feel like that again. Wow. You know? Yeah. And I was like, he's just kind of that spiritual leader, and so he kind of helped me walk through that that brokenness and that hurt, and in that journey is where I found my relationship with Jesus, and I just kind of was just clinging to him, and isn't that interesting when we talk about when there's nowhere else to turn, we turn to Jesus. Yeah. When that's really, and I have a similar story to yours too. It didn't involve a guy necessarily, but it was just, I knew Jesus all along, but he didn't really become a part of my heart until I was in my 20s, the same as you. And he is a God who will never leave us nor forsake us. So that's just a really cool thing to think, that something that devastates us, that angel of pain that comes and visits each one of us, that it took you to this really cool place where you are now. Now, Caleb, what I don't want to do is to give out your phone number, because you're going to have about 1.5 million beautiful girls calling because they know that Caleb is single now. Or are you even single now? I am. You are single. God has something great in store for you. Oh, I appreciate it.
You know, you are such a cool guy, and I just can't wait to hear what that is. Okay, let's go back to your story. You're wanting to be an actor. You're trying out for this movie called Woodlawn. It's a Tony Nathan is the star, or is the real person that you're portraying. You're trying out for the movie, but you don't get the part. Right, yeah. So through that whole journey of like becoming an actor, or, you know, chasing that dream, you know, I was still in college. What a lot of people don't know is that I quit after my junior year to be an actor. Okay. So we had just won a national championship. Wow. And well, where else was there to go? You've done it all, Caleb. And I mean, you know, people thought I was crazy because, you know, you just won a national championship, you're going to your senior year of college football, like,
look at all that opportunity out the window. But I mean, I guess I just didn't see it like that because I was just, you know, I had my faith in the Lord that, you know, he gave me that vision and that dream for a reason. So, you know, I spent the whole like year and a half or 2 years, I would say, just kind of searching and learning the business and growing in that way. And, you know, there were some roles that, you know, could have, you know, given me a foot in the door in the industry, but I just didn't feel like they were right given what I believe. So
Good for you.
I just kind of held out, was patient with some things, and went through some embarrassing ones where like my first job as acting was like in a country music video. And that's like, dude, I'm black. I'm like the only guy on set, you know, that's black. So it's like awkward things like that. But it's days like that that helped me kind of just embrace it and know like that. And really, you know, I had a blast doing it. And when Woodlawn came along, I think I was ready for something that could kind of, I guess, give me a break, you know, a big break. And like you said, yeah, I auditioned for the film, and I just believed in the character and the message of the film. And, you know, I even took the script, and I'm huge on just, you know, like faith and works. So I took the script and like signed it and put it up, and like, you know, I'm like, this is gonna be my film, claiming it, you know, and so I go through this whole transition of the casting process, and then I don't get the role.
Wow.
So it's like I was crushed about that. But I feel like looking back, God was just trying to humble me in that situation. And so I go out to the open casting call, and they book me as the main stunt double because...
Oh, so you're going to be in the movie, you're just not going to be the star.
Of course.
Okay.
I was going to be the star's backup.
Exactly.
Which I was like almost used to at Alabama, you know what I mean?
Is that right?
It's like taking me back to like my freshman and sophomore days playing on the scout team again. And I'm like, but God will, you know, he'll show you how he prepares you for certain things.
Absolutely.
And so I was ready. I just wanted to work. So yeah, I go through that process, and then 3 days before we go into shooting, they call me and they're like, dude, like, you know, we're all of these things behind scenes, you know, which looking hindsight, God was just moving these pieces to put me in the right part, which was the lead part.
And so the guy that was going to be the lead, something happened with him where he couldn't do it, and they put you in there. Yeah,
well, what happened was he couldn't get across the pond. Like, he just, something happened with, something is like, minute as a visa issue, and I mean,
God knew.
He knew.
God knew. And you, what I've read about you, Caleb, is that you have a real connection with the guy that you're playing with, Tony Nathan, who is, what year is this set?
73 and 74.
73 and 74. You're kind of like Tony Nathan in a lot of ways, right?
Very
How are you
so.
like this guy?
Well, Tony, our personalities are a lot different, but what we get the same, we value a lot of the same things. And so when I read the script, I saw a young guy who was just trying to figure out life, trying to figure out why he was put on the planet at the time he was put there. And then, you know, why people hate, we're trying to figure out why people hate him just because of his skin color, you know what I mean? And you know, but there was one thing that was constant about Tony, is that he had a huge heart, and he treated people equally no matter what they looked like. And
so was he a Christian in the movie? Okay. So he never had struggles with his faith. That's not really what the story's about.
He grew up in a Christian home, similar to me. Yeah. And then, but he gave his life to the Lord in this moment in the story where 44 out of 48 of his teammates and him give their life to the Lord at the same time.
Praise God. That's amazing.
It's incredible.
Would you call him a leader in that, or was he
definitely.
just
What kind of happened was Tony was a quiet guy. He kind of just he really let his actions speak for himself. He was really you know, he had a there's a real strength about him in his stillness and how quiet he was, and that was one of the things that I wanted to bring to the character.
A quiet strength.
Yes.
By the way, have you met Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We've spent a lot of time together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so is he still a strong Christian, and he's so excited, I'm sure, about this movie?
He is. He's very much excited, but I think the most impressive thing about Mr. Nathan is his humility. Like, you know, I'm trying to just pull all of this knowledge out of him on set, and he's just like, he just is blown away that they're filming his story as I am to play the part. And so like we're both in this like, oh my gosh phase, you know, for the first couple of days. But after that, you know, he's kind of warmed up to it. I warmed up to it, and I think we were able to collaborate and make something incredible. He's still a very strong Christian, still married to his high school sweetheart.
Oh, good.
And so he's just an incredible human being. And like, I mean, playing as an actor, playing someone who's still alive is like, it's like going into a test and just having the answers right there, you know, so it's great.
Now, you're playing somebody that lived back in the 70s, early 70s, and unfortunately there's still racial tension today, but there was a whole lot more of it probably back in the 70s. Let me just take you out of the movie for a minute and put you back into Caleb Castille.
Yes.
Have you experienced in your life, your 24 years, any kind of racial prejudice and bias?
Most definitely. I mean, I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay, there you go.
And so, very much so. I mean, I saw it a lot growing up. I remember the first time I was ever called the N-word. I was 12 years old in 6th grade. And so I'm like, I don't know how to, you know, how do you deal with that? How do you cope with that? But I had a teacher who in my 6th grade class named Mr. Harmon. And he got very real with me that day, and he said, Caleb, you're going to face this your whole life. Wow. So you need to make a decision right now how you're going to handle these situations. Yeah. Because it's going to happen, buddy. Wow. That's just how life is. Yeah. And so from that point forward, I decided that, you know, because of someone else's ignorance, I'm not going to allow them to, you know, push me somewhere emotionally where
Good. You know, it is so ignorant, isn't it? I mean, sometimes it's amazing to me how much tension there could be about the color of somebody's skin. Yeah. I mean, we're the same people. We're all created by God. So I love that you said that about a 6th grade teacher, and that's going to speak volumes really to our viewers today, to recognize that whether you're a teacher, whether you're a Sunday school Bible teacher, whatever you are, just a few words spoken to somebody can stay with them for that long and really make an impact in your life. You never had any anger or bitterness toward people that are ignorant towards you? Right, no. I mean, amazing.
It's just, you know, that's all it is an ignorance. It's not, I mean, I had a best friend who, his dad was telling me when he grew up in Augusta, Georgia during
the 60s probably?
Yeah, segregation and integration, all that deal, when they were busing in kids. And he was like, man, we would fight 3 times a day, before school, lunch, after school. And he was like, but after that year of during that year, he was like, man, we just got to know each other. And he was like, now those are some of my best friends. Wow. And so it's like it's a pure ignorance, you know, of not knowing someone or not even trying to get to know someone.
Would you say that that's one of the, because again, I haven't seen the movie yet, I can't wait to see it, Caleb, but would you say that's one of the recurring themes in the movie would be forgiveness, and because there was some racial tension in the movie, forgiveness, redemption, hope, love, all of that. How would you describe the movie, or did I just do it for
Pretty
you?
much.
I didn't mean to do that.
No, you're good. It's just like, it is one big melting pot of pretty much what you would want, you know, to get out of life, like as a human being. Like, you know, you want to be someone that forgives, and you know, you want to be someone that loves, and you want to be someone that just genuinely, you know, cares about other people. And in the movie in itself, just it takes the love of God and what it does is just permeates every situation, every ounce of hate, and And the most incredible thing about it is that it's a true story. You know, it's not, you know, some guys writing a story of what they think, how they think it should be handled. No, it happened. It was facts. It was, this was the problem, and then this was the solution, and it worked 100%. So the movie, I was telling someone, just describing it as, you know, all of those things. You have race, you have forgiveness, you have faith, you have hope, love, all of these things. And when you watch the film, they're all on an even plane. Nothing just like sticks out above another.
Just like our lives. It's all of that we have to face and that we have to deal with. Caleb, I love you. I am so glad that you're an actor and not a football player. I know you would be making a huge statement on the football field, but I don't want you to get hurt. I want you to be an actor until you're way into your 90s. I'm going to claim that for you, because you're awesome.
I love that.
And you're a handsome guy too, Denzel Washington type.
Oh, man.
I'm telling you. Let's talk about, because I don't know that much about him. I heard you mention Saban. That was your coach at the University of Alabama, Nick Saban. What was he like?
He is, oh man, I would say like Jesus.
Wow.
My dad, Coach Bryant, Nick Saban.
Wow.
Like, are the best teachers of life. Like, he literally, people see him on TV, they look at him, they watch the rant and rave and, you know, the choice words.
Does he get mad?
You know,
oh, yeah, a little bit.
Every now and then. But the man knows how to win at life, and he has a heart for young men, and he especially has a heart for young black men.
Wow.
And he has a heart for taking them out of tough situations and putting them in the best situation to make the most out of life. That's what people should see Coach Saban as.
That's cool.
They shouldn't look on the TV screen and look what he's saying at the ref or whatever. We're all fallen, and we're all, you know, we all have flaws. And so that's one thing that kind of bothers me about when people criticize him, is like, you have no idea what he's done for me, what he's really like, what he's doing for young men all around the country, and his heart. And I was actually there. I had an opportunity to go back and speak to the team and give them a private viewing of the film. And I was telling them that what Coach Saban, the principles and the tools that he equipped me with allowed me to paint a bigger picture and vision for my life outside of football. And so all of those things, it's like if like what he says, if you buy into the principles of the organization, all of his hands, you know, movements, if you do that, you know, I'll wake up some days and I'll think about things that, you know, I've accomplished, whether it's small or big. And I'm like, how did I do that? And I'll go back and look at something that I wrote down that Coach Saban said, and it's really incredible. But I was just trying to stress to those guys that Coach Saban is setting you up for life beyond football. You know, you'll look back at Alabama and you're probably their NFL career and be like, yeah, that was an awesome phase of life, but I'm doing much bigger things now because of a man who invested in my life. So.
Well, it sounds like he helped you understand that football doesn't define who you are.
Oh, no.
You know, no job defines who we are. No person defines who we are. It's our relationship with Jesus Christ.
Of course.
Well, I ask you the Nick Saban question having no preconceived notions, because my husband is a football addict. He would know about Nick Saban. I don't know anything about him, so I'm glad to know that about him. Caleb, you had 3 days to prepare to be the star, the leading man in this movie. How do you learn your lines in 3 days?
Well, I'll tell you what, I had already learned them because I thought I was going to be
Oh my goodness, that's so rich.
Yeah, I spent about so from the first day that we started, well, no, the first day I got the script, I read it overnight, and then I read it every day till, you know, until we got up to. So you knew you were Tony Nathan. Yeah, I had read it probably like 40 something times. Yeah, and so I was growing my hair out. Like I thought I was. You were. I was him. So when I walked into the office, the production office, after they called me, you know, the first thing that Andy Irwin said was like, wow, you didn't cut your hair? Then we're sitting down like this and we start going through the script, and I'm just like verbatim on the lines, and he's like, holy crap, you know, like
a gift. That is amazing.
It's
you know, that's how we should be living our lives, though, Caleb, believing that God is going to guide us and direct us. We pray about all these things, and then we don't really believe. You believe that you were going to be playing the part of Tony Nathan.
And even more than believing, I think there's just action behind it.
Yeah.
You know, God, you got to give God something to work with. So.
You are so awesome. What is next for you, Caleb?
Well, another film. Hopefully, I'll know that within, you know, the next month or so. Just kind of working through that, and I don't know. I feel like you know, for the rest of this year, it'd be really cool to just get out into wherever it may be, and just continue to push the film and to let people know this story, because it's. I mean, this is a film that will be around for a long time.
I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, it's just a blessing and an honor
to see it. So how can people find out more about the film in their local areas? Yeah,
so basically they can go to woodlawnmovie.com, and we're Woodlawn Movie on Twitter, at Woodlawn Movie on Instagram, and they can follow me at Caleb Castille on Twitter, and at Caleb
they're going to be
Castille
doing that. And
on
where
Instagram.
else? Instagram?
Yeah, and I'm on Facebook. So.
Are you sure you want these 2 million viewers out here to be contacting you, Caleb? Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I mean, I love people, so I'm ready.
I love the fact that you've been with us here today at Good Life 45. I'm so excited to have the leading man from Woodlawn. If you were to give our viewers, and you did such a great job visiting with me today, thank you so much. But let's say our viewers are listening to you today, they don't know that much about you. What kind of advice would you give to a young person listening to this interview today about a direction that maybe they should be going with their lives, that they can't figure out what they want to do? Their parents are pushing them one way, they're wanting to go another way. Do you have some advice for the viewer out there today?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of took reins in my own personal relationship with the Lord, to where, like, you know, I grew close enough to Him to where He could give me that vision and dreams. That's where, I mean, God gives those things, and so I don't think, you know, that He'll ever lead me wrong as long as I'm following that. Yeah, following that protocol, and yeah, that's what.
Follow God, right?
God. It's a very simple formula.
That's right.
Honestly, it really comes down to how willing you are to be obedient. So that's what I tried to do.
Caleb Castille, you've been so much fun to talk to. Thank you again for being here with us today. The name of the film is Woodlawn. The star of the show is Caleb Castille. I can't wait to go see it.
Yes, ma'am.
God bless you.
Thank you.